Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me okay in the chat? Shameless, give us a mic check.
Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check.
Are we coming across?
Chat.
Artemis Holmes, the only viewer here.
Chat, can you hear me? Oh, already dropped the mic.
Dang it, Artie.
Oh,
We
I
need that
gotcha.
microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, we're running a couple minutes late here, but that's okay. We're just getting things situated. All right, so I got that ready. That's ready. Stop. Don't mess around, because I really don't know if you can hear me or not. And if you're messing around right now, I'm going to be sitting here trying to troubleshoot things for like 20 minutes. Gosh, Artie. Now I don't know if she's joking or not, because now she's not
Right.
saying anything. Gosh dang it, Artemis Holmes.
Artemis?
Listen here, Lindsay. And to answer your question, no, I can't hear you. Better troubleshoot for 20 minutes. All right, Shameless, I guess we're going to sit here and troubleshoot for 20 minutes before we go live. Oh, look at that. We're live anyways. What's up?
I'm good with that.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
We're officially live.
we're
Holy
TV.
crap. That's really bright. Yeah, there we go. Let's dumb that down a little bit. You can't be mean to me today. I don't care if it's your birthday, Artemis Holmes. I can still be mean to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Artie. I would cheer you bits, but you don't stream. So, sorry. Sad panda, I guess.
Yeah. So like you, if I look off for this direction, if I look like I'm zoning out, I've actually, my setup, I've got my laptop here and my TV here, and that's how I play.
Oh.
So I've got chat on my television.
Aren't we
So I see you in
fancy.
65 inch.
Yeah,
buddy. Yeah.
I should have groomed the beard a little more if I was going to be on 65 inches. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, so we are live now on Grab Your Ale and Share Your Tale with Shameless. This is going to be an exciting one, Shameless, because I've always wanted to kind of get to know you more, because, like, I remember when you came in and you first started, like, subbing people to my channel, and I honestly didn't even know you were in Lore Seekers at the time, and I was like, oh, this dude's Shameless, so cool. He came in, he subbed out people, and they're like, yeah, he's in the Lore Seekers. I'm like, he is? So I went back and I looked. I'm like, oh my gosh, he is in Lore Seekers. Sweet. But I've seen you in a lot of other chats too, and you seem to like help a lot of the community. I've seen you give out subs and bits and all sorts of stuff to people. So that's awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. I surf Twitch quite a bit, and I'm gonna take that as a question, like just like why or whatever. So yeah, so a few months. I actually didn't even know. Well, I mean, I knew Twitch was a thing, but I had never really gotten into it until just quite a few months ago. And my son introduced it to me, and I had gotten out of gaming for a while. I was in IT for a long time, and I've kind of put computers away for a bit. But man, I got into it, and I just saw such positivity and stuff throughout the community.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those that believe that you will emulate the company that you keep, you know. And if I can do a little bit to help out people that are sharing that positivity and expressing good vibes across the community, if it's something that'll make even one person happy and give them a little bit better of a day, I think that's important to really uplift and support. Dude. So
I'm gonna do something real quick. I forgot to message out to the Lore Seekers that we're live now, so let me see. I'll ask for forgiveness later. I don't know if I'm still allowed to put this in the general tab now that we have this other member content, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
Go with what you know for right now. If we're running late, that's a good excuse. Late.
We're gonna get dozens of viewers. Just be prepared. Dozens.
Heck yeah.
Alright, there we go. There we go. Now we're all set. Oh, I forgot to... You know what I tweeted earlier? and I put one out saying that we were going to be running late. Okay, let me put this out here. We're kind of doing things backwards
on the fly.
Today. Yeah. Normally I have all of this staged and ready to go, and then we go into like the troubleshooting and the tech, mic checks and stuff. But it's all right. There we go. Keep it simple on that one. All right, there we go. Look at that. Now we have another viewer, the Red Bookworm.
Hey, Bookworm.
Yes, one in the same. Shameless and Tourist.
This one's Shameless. Tourist doesn't come out till Thursdays. Every other Wednesdays, whatever.
Yeah. No, I can't wait, man. I'm having so much fun in that. Like I didn't
already. Butterbeer, Harry.
Butterbeer.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Oh, it's not really the butterbeer though.
Just Coke. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I gotta fix that thing. Did you hear about September that's going on right now?
I did. Yeah.
So I don't
really get it though.
Oh God, they did it. I'm sorry, but Twitch did it crappy this year. Okay, so apparently last year they did 50% off any sub at all. So if you were gifting a sub, if you were subbing yourself, it was 50% off, but the streamer got all the revenue from it. This year, they're doing it from the 10th to the 30th, and the only thing that's $1 is if someone gifted you a sub, you can resub for $1, and that's it.
Oh,
that's the only way you get the benefit. So it kind of sucks. So even people that subscribe to my channel, if they want to resub, they pay the full price, because if they paid it themselves the first time and they want to renew, they need to pay the full price again. So I don't know. This is stupid. Whatever. I mean, whatever. I don't care anyways.
It probably could have been better thought through.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, like, when they first announced it, they made it sound like they were going to do $1 subs. Like, you can gift out subs or you could subscribe or something like that. And then as they active gifted sub in September, extend extra month for $1. So that's the, like, it didn't really have enough clarity to it before. So everyone was kind of assuming what it was. And then when they finally gave all the details, everyone was like, well, that sucks. That's kind of dumb.
So do they have to extend in September, or is it something where, because if I gift a sub now, it starts the clock October. Can they extend for $1 in October, or does it have to be before the sub is over?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly either that, because like if you gift someone a sub right now, I don't know if they can extend it for $1 or if they have to wait until the sub runs out. So if your sub is going to run out in that 20-day period, that's not a lot of people. Like, you would have to sub a whole bunch of people at the beginning of September and then have them renew themselves for $1. So I don't know. You can extend it before, just checked. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's still very confusing. I'm going to leave that thing up for like another episode, and then I'm going to take it down because I don't know. It's a little disappointing how they did it. It says it will charge me the $1 the day my original month runs out. Oh, okay. Were you gifted a sub, Artie? Or did you sub by yourself? I thought you subbed to the channel. Maybe someone gifted you a sub. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Guess who's in chat? My wife. I see her in chat. Oh, Shameless gifted you a sub. There you go. See? Shameless already.
Oh, yeah.
Hitting it up. Orc Bride. She's called Orc Wife in chat. All right, so let's get into this, Shameless. So anyone tuning in for the first time, I don't think there's many newcomers here because it looks like the same crew, but we're gonna freeform this because I think that worked out a lot better. Last week's episode with who did I even have on last week?
Lotus,
yes, thank you.
Yep.
When we just did it freeform and we were just talking, it was so much easier because I always have questions lined up and ready to go just in case the conversation stalls. But when it was Lindsay and Lotus and there's someone else before that, and I forget who now. It was just so much easier just to go through and just kind of have a conversation rather than trying to force the sections of the interview and stuff like that. So we're just going to go free form. We're just going to talk. Everyone else is just going to listen in on our conversation. And guess what?
The new bug. Nice.
I had to get one as I choke on my water. But
water. Likely story. You always say it's water. I don't think I ever believe you.
It is. It's always water in there. So what was it? Yeah, I kind of like it more. But let's ask the standard first question is always the first two questions. First, do you mind sharing what your real name is?
Well, James. You can call me James, or you can call me Shameless. Okay. I won't say what my last name is, but it is a Scottish name, and we get really into like the Celtic heritage type stuff around here. But not that I am Scottish. Never been. It's on the bucket list. But just
to become Scottish, is that on your bucket list?
To become Scottish? No, to go to Scotland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a lot of Irish background in me, and that's always been that's always been one of my things. Is I really want to get to Ireland and like see what it's like there. So but,
yeah.
All right. So then, where does the name Shameless come from?
That's actually so so PlayStation stuck it with me, but no, it's I grew up in kind of a motorcycle community, and everybody has names, has nicknames or whatever, road names. I hesitate to call mine a road name because I was never in a motorcycle club or anything like that, but they just started calling me Shameless one day, and it kind of stuck. So whenever I was on console, I did not realize you can't change your PlayStation gamer tag, and I was kind of in a hurry. I was throwing it on there because I was playing, or I was first logging into PlayStation or whatever. So the 427, Shameless 1 was taken, Shameless 2 was taken, blah, blah, blah. But growing up, I really liked the Shelby Cobra 427 small block. So I threw 427 in there.
Nice.
So
yes.
There's really no correlation between the two, except I sat down and threw it on a console one day.
Yeah.
I was actually going to try to change it, and like I said, PlayStation won't let you. So I was like, you know what, I'll own it, and there it is.
There you go.
If I was creative enough to come up with something different, I guess I would have at the time. But
so is that on your bucket list too? Own a Shelby 427?
That would be nice. I'm not going to put it on the bucket list because I don't want to set myself up for failure. I'm not.
Okay, did you hear that alert that time? Oh, you didn't hear it? Oh, hold on.
I didn't know.
So I forgot to turn that on as well, so that way when the alerts go off, you hear what's going on. Because someone just did the biddies for me, so that's why I was kind of like dancing around in the chair.
Oh, nice. Okay.
All right, so it's on now, so you should hear when those go off. What's up, Spicy McBrady and Fire Medic? Thank you for the biddies. Yeah, man, like I love the classic cars, and it's always been my dream to have either the first ever 67 Camaros or a 68 or 69.
There it is.
Yeah, okay, now you can hear it. I might have to disable that during this. I always forget that because like that thing, if it goes off too much, I just sit there and dance every single time it goes off. It's so catchy. I love that thing. But Argo, yes, I can disable it if I want to, but I won't for now. That's all right. But yeah, so that's one of my things. Is like I've always wanted either a 67 or 68 Camaro. And I remember I was looking on like Car Finder, what's the Auto Trader, and it like there was a really nice looking 67, and it says it's like $12,000, and it looked like the pictures of it. Oh my gosh, Fire Medic. So that one, if I could find something like that, but you always like see those ads, and when I see them, I'm like, it's gotta be some kind of scam, you know, because you've heard those stories about someone saying like, "Oh yeah, send me a money order and I'll have it shipped out to you" or something like that. And I'm like, I don't even want to take the risk with those kind of things. But my uncle bought a '68 Camaro convertible, and I told him, when you get ready to sell it, talk to me first because I want that car. And
Yeah.
he told me, you can't afford this car. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I could sell it right now, probably for like $60,000 to $70,000, because had it fully restored.
Oh,
Engine
yeah,
block on
easy.
the inside was all painted red. It's all cherry red. It's a convertible. It's all, oh my gosh, restored from original parts too. So I'm like, yeah, I probably couldn't afford that. So, but one of these days I'll get either like an old '60s either Camaro or Mustang or something like that. I want to kind of fix up as a project car. So we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be nice to have something like that just hanging around to work on. I think whenever, I don't know what happened, whenever you turn the bit thing on, I can hear myself coming through here again.
Oh really? Oh yeah, because it's the stupid. So I'm rebroadcasting whatever I hear. So if you're talking, it'll rebroadcast it to you while the song is playing, but it shouldn't do it if the song is not playing. So.
Oh, it was doing it just now.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
I
it?
can hear me again.
Oh my gosh, hold on. I think I set the wrong setting then. Let me test something here. You tell me if you can hear this song or not. Can you hear it? Do you hear the song or no?
Yeah.
You do hear it? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear it. Artie, your internet hates you. Yeah. Too much Mikey voice.
Your internet hates you. There's Chegg. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, that's better. I can not hear myself anymore, but I can still hear
Okay. So that's what it
the
is.
sound
It's
video.
like I use something called Voice Meter Banana to try and regulate like all the sounds and the volumes and stuff like that. And there's certain buttons that you can toggle, but all it says is like B1 and B2. So you have to memorize what each button does. But I actually did like a spreadsheet that shows me like what each button does, and I usually pull it up right before the stream and get it all set up, and then I didn't have time this time, so I'm like flipping every switch. I'm like, it's got to be one of these. So what's up, Mac Attack? Welcome to the show, bud. So let's see. So okay, so I've always seen, oh my gosh, here we go again. There is such a thing as too much Mikey Shoop song. Thank you for the biddies. So, oh, now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, that's why I was gonna disable the sounds before the broadcast, because I end up getting sidetracked when that happens, because it's always exciting. But that goes back to, like you were saying, you were talking about, you know, going to the community, being able to sub people, and being able to, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Hang on one sec. I'm gonna turn down the video sounds. That way it's not as loud. At least I hope it's gonna do that. Okay. So like, yeah, like you were saying, you know, going across the community, being able to gift out subs and give bits and stuff like that. Like, to me, and I'm sure every other streamer that is out there, that's probably the best feeling when you're streaming. Is that's kind of like a, hey, I like what you're doing. It seems like you're doing good stuff, and that's a good way to you know, show words are hard. It's a good way to like show support to that streamer. So I mean, I love it when someone comes in. I like Fire Medic sitting here giving me biddies like crazy all the time now. But you know, having people come in and just do subs and stuff like that, it means a lot to me, because you know, that's kind of my way of like judging, you know, am I doing something that people are enjoying, or is it just kind of me rambling on being an idiot or what? So, but Yeah.
Well, it works both ways too, because I mean, I think it's a good feeling to be able to drop support on somebody's channel, especially somebody's channel that, like I said, shows a lot of positivity and brings a lot to the community. Because I really do think, a lot of gamers, we spend a lot of time in these games,
Yeah.
and the toxicity and stuff that you find in you're gonna find toxicity everywhere.
Yeah.
The internet it is what it is. It's been it's
Yeah.
been toxic for decades, but
Yeah,
um,
that's the funny thing is like ESO has a really great community. It's not to say there is no toxicity in it, but oh my god, the amount of people supporting one another in the community, not only supporting each other in the game, supporting each other in Twitch, supporting each other as streamers. I mean, it just shows. And you showed up for the stream for Tea and Crumpet yesterday, right? I'm pretty sure I saw you pop
yeah,
up in there.
yeah,
I
that
mean,
was fantastic.
that absolutely floored me seeing how many people showed up to support that guy out of the 4,000 subscriptions, unknown amount of bits and donations that guy has given out. I mean, he
Yeah.
deserves it because he has just been absolutely awesome at helping out the community. And that's my same thing to you. It's like you've been very awesome helping out streamers and, subbing to them, gifting subs out to them. I mean,
I appreciate
that
that, and
yeah.
I'll never be on the Tea and Crumple level. That's
Right.
pretty legendary, but
Yeah, he's on his own level. But
yeah,
that's the thing
yeah,
is it's not like a competition. It's not like you're trying to get to that level. It's just even if you're
no,
showing that support, I mean, it's awesome.
yeah, and he actually was uh, one that kind of really influenced, I guess is a good word. When I first, again, I just got into Twitch a few months ago, probably 6 months.
Yeah.
Did a lot of lurking around and stuff like that, and he was one of the first guys that I saw in there just dropping sub bombs and whatnot. So I messaged him on Twitter, and because he had given me like 5 gift subs, right,
Hmm.
and I, to ask him, what's going on, why are you doing this, and he had um, so he's wanting to pay it forward, kind of in the name of his father, John Crumpet. I don't know his real last name, but
The
just a great guy.
Sean
And
Crumpet, is that what you said?
John, I call him John Crumpet. I don't know. I don't know his last name, so I didn't ask.
Oh, that's funny.
Um,
That
yeah,
would.
great dude, generous guy.
Yeah.
And if he's doing it for his dad, then I'm sure his dad was a great guy for raising such a generous soul. But
Oh yeah.
um, again, it's something important that I wanted to do as well, to not just to pay that forward, but um, again, just to support the community overall, because um, we had a pretty rough year last year. At the beginning of it was about 18 months ago. 18 months ago, my wife was diagnosed with cancer,
Oh
and
really?
we went uh, through chemotherapy, and she finished that. She's gone through about 3 tests now, and is good. So survivor so far. So that was amazing. But
That's awesome.
uh, that is if you've never seen anybody go through chemo, I hope you never have to. It's a really dark and nasty thing.
Yeah.
Um, that really changed our um, our lives. But it was going to a Twitch stream, or hanging out with positive people in game and stuff like that. With the little time I had, because you're trying to be a caretaker, while we're trying to take care of our home, and we run a homestead, so it's really busy, right? So,
Hmm.
um,
What do you have at your
uh,
home?
so we just okay. So it was actually, that's kind of what made last year worse, because we had just bought this house, right? And it was built in 1882. We wanted something old.
Wow.
Um, there's only about 3 acres here, but we've got about a quarter acre of it tilled up for garden this year. We planted some fruit trees. Um, Next year, we're going to start to integrate some chickens, and then we'll have a couple of pigs after that, and then yes, we will have a goat.
Oh yes, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Pip just recently finished her chemo as well, and I was gonna go into it. I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to pry, and I don't want to get anything too personal. But yeah, I've never luckily had to deal with it in my immediate family, but a lot of my uncles have gone through it, and none of them have been successful going through chemo. So
Sorry to hear that.
I've had a few pass away over the years, and it is tough. I mean, seeing the changes and going through that. I mean, that's absolutely awesome to hear when people go through it and they're in recovery and remission, it makes it so much better when you can actually, get through the hard part and come out the other side. And
yeah.
Sorry. It's a touchy subject for me.
Yeah, but it's rough. Hey.
But yeah, man, it's awesome. I'm really glad she made it through and that she's in remission. So hopefully, I'll be praying for her and that she continues to do good, on the other side of that. So, but all right, I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit here because I don't want to start tearing up on the show.
Digital hugs all around.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jethro.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Pip, I'm so glad you're here. Pip's been one of those people that I've been gaming with for a very long time. And and so hearing her go through it was actually pretty hard too. But yeah, her, me, Cash, and quite a few of the Mog Nation people, we've been gaming together for years. So, you get pretty attached to even people, through playing games, you can get pretty attached. So it's, all right. So chickens, when you get the chickens, that'll be awesome. Yeah, we did chickens here at my house. We don't have a homestead or anything, but we, in our neighborhood, we can do chickens as long as you get the okay from other neighbors and stuff like that. Well, our next door neighbor, she's a farm girl, and she went in on it with us to buy the materials to build the chicken coop, and that didn't work. It's still really loud in my headset. I wonder why that's not working. All right. So, going through and doing that, it was fun because, like, you think of chickens just as, food. Like, it's just food from either eggs or, when you pluck them and eat them. But it was fun having chickens because they're like your own little pets. They all have their own little personality and stuff like that. So it was fun having them. And when me and my wife did it, the first time we bought them as chicks, and then when all of those died, we bought the fertilized eggs. And we went through the whole process of actually hatching them and growing them and all that stuff, and that was a lot of fun because you go through the whole entire cycle and get to see them actually hatch from the egg and everything. It was so much fun to do that. So yeah, it'd be cool. If you guys do it, you should do it that way. Get the little like styrofoam incubator that you can get for those. That's like the cheapest thing, and they work so great because you don't need they have fancy ones where it just rolls the egg slowly, like as it's supposed to be turned. But if you get like the styrofoam one, you pop it off and you just rotate them every day. I don't know. We can talk chickens all day, like when you guys finally get it. But
well, you could talk to. I'm in way over my head with it. This is something that my wife she's been researching the whole homesteading thing for a long time. I'm just here for the manual labor, but so she knows what she's doing, and I'm enjoying it. It's great. It's fun. It's pretty rewarding, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And when she gets chickens next year, I'm just gonna be following behind her and be like, yes, dear.
Yeah.
Just show me what to do.
Well, and that's what she did. And she just put in the chat, you got to research it before you start doing it, because we did actually 2 batches, and we only had 1 live.
Yeah.
From the first batch, because like you have to have like the humidity right, you have to have the temperature right, you have to you mark one side of the egg with an X and then leave the other side blank, so when you turn the egg which side they should be on, stuff like that. So yeah, it was a whole process. But like when we did it too, I set up one of my old webcams like right over the window, and so we would have it recording, so that way when they hatched, you could see them hatching and coming out and everything. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
that is cool.
But yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're doing this on a property that we found that's actually right in the middle of the city. And for whatever reason, we only got 3 acres of it, but for whatever reason, there's like 12 acres that never got incorporated into the city proper. So it's still county. So we can have the chickens and the goats, and we don't have to have neighbors' permission or anything
Oh
like that.
yeah.
So, um, but we live far enough away that I don't think it's really going to bother them or anything like that. But it's kind of neat to have something like that. And people are driving by your place all the time and kind of looking at it like, how in the world did you get that in the city? But
Yeah.
um, it's also, people have stopped by and asked, well, how can I do this with my place too? And that's kind of what my wife was going for, is she was wanting to show folks that you don't have to have, a lot of property to make stuff like this happen and
Yeah.
save money on groceries. Definitely, take stuff down to the farmer's market. Neighbors like coming over, and we've got a couple of pear trees that actually produce that. We can give that away, but the other fruit trees are pretty new. So it's pretty fun. It's a journey. Again, she's done all the research on it, so I'm just here for the manual labor, but it's still pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, collecting the eggs is also not a very fun part because like herding chickens is not as easy as it seems like it would be. Oh, and then the other thing is like chickens, they don't really fly, but they can. They can fly if they want to. And when you first get them, you have to clip their wings so that way, they when they try to fly, they won't really get enough momentum to get up in the air. But
Okay.
we had them. Lotus OD with a raid. Thank you, buddy. So we live in an area where the backyard of our area has like a small chain link fence.
Rhyming elephant.
The what?
So I was reading Artie's comment about the rhyming elephant.
Oh, I think that's from Doc
I don't.
Horton Hears a Who or something like that. Is that what it's from? I don't know. A rhyming elephant.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're good. So like we have this chain link fence, and they would jump on that, and then just above that is our block wall. So sometimes they would get up on the chain link fence, get on the block wall, and get out of our yard. And so one day we had one of our neighbors come by and be like, "Do you guys have chickens?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "We found a chicken running around like right in front of our house." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's ours. Thanks." He's like, "Oh, I didn't even know you guys had chickens." But like, that's the other thing is like, so for our HOA, you can't have roosters, but you can have chickens, and you can only have so many of them. And chickens, when they lay their eggs, they do their chicken song, I think it's called, where they squawk a lot. Like when they're laying eggs, oh yeah, they can get loud. And they used to do it first thing in the morning. So I would get woken up from the chickens laying eggs in the morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're not doing this anymore. So after a while, after our last batch of chickens, we got rid of the chicken houses and got rid of the chickens and everything. So, but my neighbor, she's got a batch of chickens again, but I never hear hers, and she's got chickens, like 4 dogs, 2 bunnies, a bird. I forget what the type of bird is. And then they own a goat, but you can't have the goat in the backyard, so they have it at someone else's. Yeah. See, we can just get down to that. Thank you 3 moons. I appreciate it. But yeah, like we can't have goats here, so she keeps the goat. And like the popular thing in Arizona is to have a horse ranch, which is just like basically a 1.5 to 2 acre lot. So it's a pretty small lot. Gosh. All right, I might have to mute that just that way I can concentrate. I don't remember how now.
You don't remember how to mute it?
No, I don't remember now.
That's great.
All right, I'll fix that in a little bit. We'll keep going. I just thought there was a way I could at least mute it so that way I can't hear it play on my end, but they could hear it in the stream, but apparently not. So, I don't know. All right, so Anyway, she's got a goat and it stays at the other property, and we got to go over there. And like goats are so much fun, dude, because they're almost like dogs, but a little bit more active, and they do like some crazier stuff. Like they'll jump around and they'll like act real crazy and stuff, but they love to be petted and everything. So we'd go over there and take care of their goats when they were out of town. It was fun. So
What kind of dog do you have that a goat is more active than your dog?
we have two dogs. The Chihuahua isn't very active. He just sits around all the time. He's a lap dog for sure. He sits around and cuddles up in our lap and stuff like that. So, but
We've got a wire fox terrier that is probably the most hyper thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It is all over the place and it's cute, but it's one of those varmint dogs or whatever. I mean, they're kind of bred to go chase stuff.
yeah.
It's, so the wife also came home with a cat one day that I thought the dog was actually going to just maul. And they're buddies. They like eat out of the same bowl. It's really gross, defective dog, but it's totally hyper. And um, she the cat just had kittens, so now we've got a dog and three cats, and they're all friends. And I don't know if the dog thinks she's a cat now, or the cats think that they're dogs, but kind of an interesting dynamic.
So
But I could not imagine a goat being more active than the wire fox terrier.
well, that's a different type of dog. We have
Yeah.
a husky lab. He keeps walking around behind me here, and he's a pretty active dog. And he's a like a large breed dog. Well, not a large. Well, yeah, like he's the same size, maybe a little bit bigger than a lab, and he thinks he's a lap dog. So he'll like jump on the bed and lay on top of you, and we're just like, no, you can't do that, man. So we're always telling that dog to get down, even though the Chihuahua is allowed to get up on the bed with us and everything. And he like gives you this look like, why can't I be up here when the other one's up here? That's not fair. So I don't know. He doesn't realize how big he is, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's. You know what? I'm gonna not really structure this, but I am curious to get into like the background of how you got into gaming because everyone's got their own way. So, what kind of got
Oh
you
yeah.
interested in gaming?
I've been gaming since I was a kid. My my mom worked for a school. We didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid, but she worked for a school district, and of course, probably with you, I think we're pretty close to the same age. You had the latchkey kids back in the day, and
Yeah.
uh, the school district they understood that, so they let my mom go home from work early, but they wanted her to keep working, so they gave her a computer. They gave her a loaner, and it was this old Apple IIe. Um, and I remember it having Castle Wolfenstein, like the old original platformy version on there. Um, and I really got into that. Well, thankfully, she wasn't the type of parent that was like, "Don't touch the computer." She let us get on that thing, and I was on it all the time. I remember IT having to come over and fix it all the time too, which
Oh,
was
really?
good because I learned a lot from them.
So that's what
um,
got you into the IT world, huh?
yep, and yeah, we just kind of we had it there at the house. We were pretty fortunate to have a computer at the house. Now, when the consoles came out, the Nintendo and such, um, we couldn't get one of those. But there was always the neighborhood kid that had the one Nintendo that everybody was wanting to have the
Hmm.
sleepover with, just so they could go play, Zelda and whatnot. And I think my first Nintendo game was Excite Bike.
Oh
Um,
yes, I love that
Excite
game.
Excite Bike was awesome. I could play that for hours, and then I remember a lot of the original Metroid, Mega Man,
Hmm.
of course Mario Brothers. Everybody liked Super Mario, Contra, Tetris, all that kind of stuff. So um,
My
going
favorite.
back and forth from PC to and really Mac was primarily what we had around the house because that's what the school district had contracts with.
Yeah.
Um, but got into on the computer side, got into Baldur's Gate later on, Icewind Dale. And I kept going back and forth again, like I said. So console, jumped back there when Final Fantasy was getting really big. Got into some of the shooter, Rainbow Six and Splinter Cell and that kind of thing, but I never really got into first person shooters too much.
Yeah.
I was really a lot more into the RPG type stuff. Um, so I've taken a lot of breaks, but I've never really not been a gamer as far as I can remember, you know. Um, MMOs on the other hand, I never like I was trying to think of the one that all my buddies played, um, EQ or something like that. EverQuest, yeah, EQ.
Yeah.
And they would get so frustrated with all the grinding, and they said horrible things about this game. And I'm like, dude, guys, you're not selling this. I mean, why?
Yeah, right.
so, so I didn't get into my first MMO until Warcraft. Um, and Warcraft, I played Warcraft for a couple of years, but talk about toxicity on the internet. I had a horrible experience with Warcraft,
Mhm.
and I put it down after, oh, it was right after I think the Lich King DLC came out or something. I don't know if you ever got into Warcraft at all. And
Yeah, I played for probably 2 years when it first came out, and then before they did their first expansion, I was off the game. Like I never
yeah,
got into it too bad because like I was the same way. It really was too toxic for me, and I didn't like the people that were I was playing with, and it was probably the
hmm,
group that I was playing with that was probably a bad group to be with because they were those hardcore. You have to be on at a certain time.
right,
You have to commit to staying on for the entire raid and all that stuff, and I was like, I'm not dealing with this crap. I'm like, I'm a grown man. I'm not gonna
right.
you know
Like I got things to
tailor my
do.
life around a game.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. A lot of the same types. I couldn't do that, and it was. And I see, not to say horrible things about WoW. I see, bacon. Hell,
what's up, Bacon?
uh, uh, I see a lot of streamers that stream Warcraft now um, that are good people. So I know the whole community is not that way, but unfortunately, just when I got into it, that was the community I got saturated with, and I had to step away from
Yeah. No, I just I don't know. It depends on the game and it depends on
it.
what you're playing and everything. But yeah, I really think that some of the games back in the day had much more toxicity than ESO does. That's the weird thing too. Is like
Yeah,
ESO. Like I know it's not just. Um, I know it's not all adults, but it seems like that's the mentality that ESO has. Is it's a lot more. Um, what you call it? It's a lot more adult like gamers on it, even though it's not. There's kids that play it too, but it almost feels like it's almost all adults playing the game. Just because
right.
everybody's kind of helping each other out and stuff like that. I don't know. It just seems that way to me. So I'm creating a
Yeah,
little.
and I wouldn't say a statistic because I'd be making it up, but it seems like because I played on when I first got into ESO, I started on the PlayStation, and it seems like there's a lot of younger audiences on the consoles than there is on
Yeah.
PC.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
but
son's a good example of that. Fortnite's definitely a game I could never play like more than one time a year. Because like
so I
I tried that out with my son, but I can't play that game mostly
yeah,
because like I hear the way he talks when he plays it, and I don't think you can talk to each other in the game, right? Like you can have a party chat, but you can't like hear other players, right?
I don't know because
I
I
don't.
I played it one time with my kid, my youngest son, um, so. Uh, I'm watching. Okay, when I first started playing, I'm like trying to skirt around hills and trees and stuff like that. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm just trying to be tactical.
Yeah.
Um, and here's how you do it, Dad. Starts jumping around, and all of a sudden, I could just picture all my soldiers in a platoon like jumping through a field, and I'm like, "No, this is not
Exactly.
okay.
That's
There's
exactly
nothing
it
okay
too.
with that."
Because so me and my son have played shooter games before, but the main game that we played before, but Luke, what's the name of the shooter game that we were playing just not long ago? The one that you just got back into.
Kids can't afford me.
What's the shooter game that we used to play together that you just got back into?
America's Army.
America's Army. Thank you. So, have you seen that game before?
I haven't. No.
Okay, so that game was actually developed by the Army as a simulation shooter game, and it's like actually a pretty big shooter type game. But that's the thing is like that game actually depends on you using tactics rather than just run and gun. Because if you run and gun, you die.
I'd probably be a little more all right with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I loved playing that game for the longest time, but it's like really, there's a lot of really close combat type maps where you don't have like this huge giant map like Fortnite to run around and get equipment and better stuff. You basically have a set load that you take, just like in real life. And when you go and you run around, you're not just running through a building trying to find the other people. You have the ability to actually like crouch down and look around the corner and look back, look around the corner, look back, and like you're holding your weapon and you're like looking over and then you go back, stuff like that. So there's a lot of tactics to it. I really like that game quite a bit. So you got screwed on your what? Just got screwed by RNGesus again on my crate meh. Twitch crate. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, no. It's all random, dude. I don't know what's going on. I logged in this morning and I had 6 crates. And I'm like, the event I had already opened like 2 or 3 crates. So I don't know where those other crates came from. Like I thought you could only get 1 crate per day. But I mean, I don't know where they came from.
I'm not sure what the rate is. And I think you got extra ones for watching some of the the Wolf Hunter and the Murkmire events and stuff like that too. So if you watched any of that stuff, I think you got crates from that.
Yeah. Most you got was 10 in one day. I've never gotten 10. That's a lot. That would be fun to open that. I still never got the Twitch kitty yet. I really want that mount. That thing looks cool. But
yeah, I was gonna say I'd open up 10 I'd have a ton of poisons.
Yeah.
Probably about it.
Well, that's the nice thing about those free crates though, is that they at least do give you the gems to use.
Ton of gems. Yeah.
Because like right now, I could get one of the Apex mounts from the crates they have out right now. But I don't know. Like I've seen them and I like them, and I saw Pip post a picture. Pip has every type of gore there is. And she has every single gore to one of her characters to match it. So I'm like, oh my gosh. She sent me the picture right before we went on. And I was like, oh my God, really, Pip? But yeah, like, okay, so going back to like the gaming stuff. Yeah, I can't stand like consoles anymore. And kind of like Bacon said, it seems like the younger generations are more into console than into PC gaming, which I'm okay with, because if the younger generations stay to the consoles and we stay on PC, then maybe that's the way things will go. Is maybe we'll start seeing more mature audiences, but probably not. So I don't know. It really depends on the game too, and I think that's one of the things about ESO is it is a little more complicated game than some of the other some of the other games that are out there. And it's not just, like for instance, World of Warcraft, you create a tank. You don't have to think about much going into it except for the gear, because it's already spec'd out. That's what you play. You don't have a variation to it very much. But you can pick other classes to play with the races and stuff like that, where this definitely takes a whole lot more.
Hey, Teen Crumpet.
What's up, Teen Crumpet?
How you doing, sir?
The myth.
I gotta wait for this to play. I love this one.
Yep.
The legend. Tea and Crumpet.
Nice.
What's up, T, buddy?
That was one of my favorites.
Yeah. I like doing those. I'm gonna do another one of those because, like, I heard one of the advertisements for like a movie coming out, and it was I forget what it was, but it's like, in a time where blah 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 blah, and I'm like, yes, I want to do one just like that for
do
someone.
the movie guy voice.
Yes, yeah. I like doing those. Those are more fun. I can't sing worth a crap, so I leave that to Mikey Shoot. Oh yes, we're both doing well.
Oh yeah.
So all right, so let's go back into like the gaming aspect, stuff like that. So did you ever get into any other Elder Scrolls games, or is this your first one, or what?
No, it's definitely not my first. And I actually wasn't even planning on playing ESO when it came out. Um, Again, because when it came out, it was advertised as an MMO, and I had just gotten away from MMOs basically, so
Yeah.
I didn't jump right into it. But yeah, I played. I think like most folks, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. I still jump into Skyrim every once in a while. I still play that. And I've got a few variations, not as many as they've got out there, but I've got. We just got it on VR last Christmas, the on the PlayStation VR. Um, so Skyrim VR is if you've never played that, if you have any kind of motion sickness,
Yeah.
I can't play it for any more than like 20 minutes at a time
I
because I get
didn't
sick.
know I didn't know Skyrim was on VR.
They've got a Skyrim for everything. They have
That's
so many
awesome.
Skyrim.
I would love to.
Yeah.
You know what? I've always wanted to get one of the big VR machines, like the real one, like
Yeah.
$700-800. So like the PlayStation one, is it like that where it's like the big goggles and
Yeah, you got the headset and it comes with a camera and sensors and all that kind of stuff. I mean it's not I think um, the ones you can get for like Steam PC and stuff like that, I think they're a little more low key compared to what the PS version looks like.
yeah. No, that's cool.
But it's pretty neat. There's a few games on it, but
Yeah,
um,
I tried out one of those VR headsets where you put your phone into it and then you do the thing, and that thing just makes me nauseous the entire time because it doesn't.
yeah,
Like they try to adapt it for so many different phones, and they have so many different knockoff versions that you could buy, and the
yeah,
one that I got. Oh, and thanks for the follow, bud. The one that I got was supposed to be adaptable to all sorts of sized phones and stuff like that, but they don't make a way to adjust like the focus. So both my phones I've tried it on, it's so blurry looking, and it like any kind of motion at all that you do with it, I end up feeling like I'm gonna throw up after like just a couple minutes. So I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not investing into that. When I get the next one, it's gonna be one of those sets that you hook up to the PC. That's like $700-800. I think that'd be a lot of fun to play. So
yeah. I'd like to try one of those out. I don't know that I'd invest in one yet,
yeah,
um, but yeah. So I played quite a few of the other Elder Scrolls games. And I've never really been able to pick a favorite because I still jump back to Skyrim, I still jump back to Oblivion, Morrowind every once in a while, and they've got such different dynamics to them. The Morrowind and Oblivion, of course, I don't think I get into those as much as I do now, or some of the Skyrim games, just um, because graphics have just come so far since then.
yeah.
Um, that I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't really want to look at this anymore. So, but I put a
That's
lot of hours on all of them.
yeah, that's the one of the things is like I feel like when I bought my PC, it was probably like 6 or 7 years ago I bought my PC, and it still plays pretty good with all the all the games that I play right now. But I want to get like a very high end machine because I want to go back and put like Skyrim with the mods of that I've seen of like making it more realistic because man, it
Oh
looks
yeah,
so awesome. Like I've seen gameplay on YouTube from when people put those add-ons on, and it just looks so much more amazing. I want to go back and do it all over again with that. So,
yeah.
and if I get the VR thing, I think they have the Fallout VR. So I want to do Fallout 4 in VR. So,
Oh, I haven't seen that. That would be cool.
did you play Fallout 4 at all?
I played it a little bit. I actually got into it. I was actually watching Bacon play it a few weeks ago or something like that because I was wanting to try. I was like, let me see, watch him play it. Maybe I'll get back into it. But I haven't even gotten past like the first zone. Uh, my son played it a lot more than I did.
Yeah, that's so funny you mentioned that because I remember watching Bacon playing it a while back, and he was like running away from these zombies trying to chase him, and he ran down this alley, and it looked like you could squeeze through, and he got to the corner, and like he couldn't get through, and he kept trying to jump out, and he couldn't get out of there. He turns around, and one of them had a rocket launcher and blew him up, and he was just like so pissed when it happened. He's like. I'm like, oh my god, dude. It was so awesome. But like I can only imagine playing that game in VR and one of the death claws comes jumping at you. I would piss my pants. Oh my gosh.
Crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, I love the new level of like VR that they're doing, all the different games, stuff like that. There's a really cool one they have out right now that seems to be very popular for Twitch, which is like some kind of like lightsaber slash what's that the music game where you gotta like hit the notes and stuff like that. I forget what it's called. Rock Band. It's like you gotta hit the certain things a certain way and stuff like that. That looks really cool because one, I'm a nerd when it comes to Star Wars, and just being able to like fake throw around a lightsaber and stuff like that'd be so much fun to do. But yeah, that's the way I want to go. I want to start doing some VR stuff if I ever get one of those machines because those things look like fun. So,
well, like I said, I haven't found one game yet that I can play for any more than a half hour because I just get motion sick, and I don't get motion sick normally. I mean, that was kind of a strange feeling to me, but they are a lot of fun. They're supposed to be Spider-Man game's supposed to come out. We played a demo of that, and of course I'm not a big heights person. I'm scared of heights. I hate heights. So you're on a big building and you have to zip line down or use your web shooters or whatever and go to another building. And I was freaking out. I was like, this is nuts.
Sorry,
I'm the same way. Like if I get a big ball in ESO, I'm puckering up too.
Yeah, there's been quite a few times playing ESO even where I've kind of like jumped when I've been playing it, and I'm like, really? It's like not even VR. It's not even like I'm, completely focused into the game.
If I'm running too fast and I go off a cliff or something like that, I'm just like, oh, here it comes.
You gotta close down.
I'll let myself die.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I thought I fixed the thing where it won't let people link.
Portal. That's how I do.
Oh my gosh.
My son plays Portal, and he does really well at it.
I bought that game, and I get so confused trying to figure out the puzzles on those games, but it's so fun because that's the kind of thing I like to do is figure out puzzles in games. Like, okay, so old school games. Did you ever play the original Myst?
Yes. Oh, yes. I didn't get into it too much, but I remember playing it. I think it was because a buddy had it or something like that, and I was playing it over at his place.
Yeah. No, we had that in junior high, and it was one of our computer classes. So we had two computer classes that we used to do, and one was a Mac class, which was the typing class, and then the other class had the PCs where you'd actually do like trying to learn how to use computers and stuff like that. And one of the things that they had was Myst, and you could actually sit there and play it for the whole, whatever hour that you had, and just play the game for the whole hour. So I was like, yes, I love this class. And oh man, I used to play that game every single time I'd go in there because it was fun to try and go through and figure out the puzzles and all that stuff. I don't know if I ever finished that one, but that was an awesome game because that was one of them that it looked really nice. It didn't have like a lot of like I remember it was like click motion. You'd click in a certain area and then it would move you to that spot. But it was kind of cool playing that kind of stuff. So yeah, Bacon played it too. That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of games, man. Back in the day, like it was just the coolest thing. And we're talking about that one, the off-road game that I used to play. someone sent me a link after I was talking about that to an arcade game you could buy, and it was $1,600, and it was that off-road game that I loved, and it had like 4 steering wheels across it, so that way you could play 4-player on it. I'm like, it's so tempting. My wife would never approve that purchase, but it'd be so tempting to buy that.
I miss the old school arcades, and I would love to invest in getting a bunch of those and start up an arcade again locally or something like that.
Yeah,
those are all good times.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. There's a guy I went to high school with, and he's like really big into buying old pinball machines and arcade games and stuff like that. And he said he's looking into right now. I forgot what he. I gotta look it up now because it's gonna bother me. But he's gonna come up with a barber shop that has games in there, and like you can play the games while you're waiting to get your haircut. And I'm like, dude, if you do it and you charge like $25 or something like that for a haircut, I'm going there, because I'm like, I'd love to sit in there and play the video games that he's bought and all the pinball machines and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm like, I really hope he goes through with it, because that'd be so much fun to be able to do that. Like, even after I get my haircut, I'd probably be hanging out there for a few hours.
just kind of
yeah, just chill out there.
Pushing guys ahead of you. You can go next.
Yeah. No worry. I'm here all day. Don't worry about it. But yeah, he had a really catchy name for it too. Awesome. Oregon Trail. Yes, I have a shirt that says "You died of dysentery." That I wear.
Everybody died of dysentery. We were talking about that in one of Bacon Streams again. He just brought that up, and I jumped in a night or so ago. Whenever he was doing his 24-hour, we were talking that up. The first thing everybody said was like, "Kids died of dysentery. Everybody dies of dysentery."
They have a new. They have a card game version that my sister brought over to my parents' house one. I think it was on Mother's Day. Yeah, and it was fun to play. But basically, when you go through the game, or the instructions for the game, it basically just says like, you will die, you will not succeed in this game, and if you do, you're one of the very few fortunate ones, because it's so hard. Because like what it is like, you lay down track road, and like there's some roads that don't have anything, so there's no penalty or anything like that. There's other ones that you can pick up one of the cards that has some kind of effect on you. And like, I remember when we were playing on Father's Day, like my mom picked one and it said you died of dysentery. My brother-in-law picked one and it said something like he got poisoned by a snake and died. And then my nephew picked one and it was like, if you don't get a certain item by the next turn, you die. So it's like, it's so brutal, because like everything is like, you have no chance of actually making it through the game. But we got close a couple times, so I don't know. It was fun.
Oregon Trail was like the game that this might have been like school districts, nationwide or something. But for whatever reason, my elementary school, Oregon Trail was the game that everybody learned computers on. And I was like, that is a terrible thing to do to kids. I look back on it now and I'm like, we all died. We all had to get out there hunting. Yeah. Like, carts are crashing. Whatever. But there's nothing good about it.
I can't believe they haven't like remastered that game and just put it out again. Like, I have seen different versions of it.
Everybody that played it's still scarred.
Probably. It comes out again. They get 0 sales. They're like, no way. I don't want to die of dysentery again. But no, that was a fun game, man. I loved it.
Yeah,
like, it was really challenging, because it really made you think about, certain things. And that's the funny thing about the card game is like, you have very limited supplies and you can lose supplies very easily. So it's like, you got to really pick, the first person that gets some kind of calamity. Like, do you save them or let them die and keep your resources so that way you can try and go further? So like, when we played on Mother's Day, my mom picked one of the cards that was like, if you don't if you don't use certain items like medicine or water or something like that, by the next turn they die. So we were coming around and we were like right before it was her turn. I'm like, yeah, but do we want to save her? I mean, we could probably make it further if we just keep going and let her die. And she's like, it's Mother's Day. You better save me. I'm like, bah, it's a game. I'm not really gonna let you die, but in this game I might.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
it's fun. So, all right, let's talk a little Elder Scrolls. So what kind of got you into Elder Scrolls in the first place? Like, how long have you been playing the game now?
You mean just Elder Scrolls Online?
Yeah.
Online. I've been playing since 2015.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't beta. It was right before Orsinium came out. And again, I wasn't going to get into it because it was another MMO. Well, I've got two older boys who are out of the house now, and they were going to start playing it. So it was like, it was a good way to spend time with your kids while they're gone. But they were playing on PlayStation. They played for like 6 months. They don't even play anymore, and I just kept going. But I've got most of my time on the PlayStation. And I've basically maxed out that account. I mean, I've never gone for Emperor or anything like that, so I don't have that one. And I don't have Master Angler, and I probably will never have that one. But 15 characters and almost 900 CP.
That was on the PlayStation, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, when I started playing on that, I got hooked back into it. And again, the community on there is fairly good too, and met a lot of good folks and such. But then I started listening to a lot of the some of the lore podcasts and stuff. And I think I finished one series off, and then it was like 4 or 5 episodes into the Lore Seekers podcast that I found theirs and downloaded it, and heard Cash and Jibs talking about what's it called, MOG, Meridia's Order Guards Guild.
Yeah.
And the way they explain, and I had always, because since they were on PlayStation, my kids were on PlayStation, that's what I started on to play with them. But I'd always been interested in going back over to PC. And so whenever they were talking about it, I was like, you know what, Somerset was just about to hit. And I was like, screw it, I'm gonna switch over. I got a Somerset code for PC and jumped into that. Because like you were saying, I can't keep up with these guys that are just, they want to set up trial groups at specific times, specific days, and you got to be there for everyone or you're out of the core group kind of stuff. I got a lot of other things to do, so
yeah.
Yeah, jumped over to PC last, I want to say May. It hasn't been very long. Yeah, I think.
Did you go to Mog first?
It was like, yeah, I got into the Mog on their webpage. Can't remember what the webpage is now, but got accepted on that, and I asked if there was a PlayStation guild or if there were any console guilds, and they said not for ESO. And I was like, well, I want, I wanted to switch over to PC anyway, so that was my excuse to get over to PC. So Mog was my first guild on PC, and just like within days, I got into the Lore Seekers Guild after that. But yeah, that was last April. So I've only been on PC for about 5 months now.
Yeah.
And just got my Mage Blade up to level 50. And that's my 4th character to get to level 50 on PC. And I'm only sitting around 400 CP on that one, on that account. So
I've been playing this game since January, so about 8 months now. And like the highest, I mean, I think now 4 characters that are that, but my CP is only at like 4. I think it's at like 430 or something like that. I think I'm doing something wrong, Shameless. I think I might need you to show me what you're doing.
Well, yeah. Sweaty. It is kind of hot in here.
Is it?
Um, well, I've been playing so long on PlayStation though. I mean, when I start leveling a character, I know exactly where to go for all the quests that'll give you a skill point and where all the books are and all that kind of stuff. So I level pretty fast, but especially for new players, um, definitely recommend, going through the content pretty slow. I mean, it did, and I started back before 110 Riel, so you had to grind all the way up to, it was veteran rank 16 was the max at that time.
Oh,
Started
really?
with veteran rank 15 and then 16. It was before you got, yeah, it was 110 Riel that changed. That was huge for ESO. That made it so much better it made it a lot more flexible, I guess, for character building and alts and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, that's the thing is like when so I started back in beta and I only played for like a week because,
You been in
or
game.
uh,
Sorry.
no, um, like I started back in beta because a lot of the Mog Nation was gonna go try it out, and I only played for I don't know, like a week or a month or something like that. It wasn't even that much that I played it, and all I remembered out of that game was the Wailing Prison. And like as soon as I got out, starting in Canarthy's Roost, and I was just like, I'm not even like I wasn't in the mood to get into another MMO, so I'm like, forget it, I'm not gonna play it. So I'd
Yeah.
been hopping around a lot of different games, and then finally, like Cash and
Hey.
Cash and some of the other people that I played with, they were like, "Hey, why don't you, uh, why don't you try the game out?" They're like, "You don't have to buy a monthly subscription or anything. You buy the game, and then you get to, just play that if that's what you want to do." So I was like, "All right." So I bought it in January, and then I think I played for a week or 2 weeks, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do the monthly subscription because I wanted to try out the DLC packages. I wanted the endless crafting bag and all that stuff. So
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I got
that
hooked
thing's
on
a
the game
must.
pretty. Yeah,
That's definitely.
I got hooked on it pretty quick. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
I love the game. I love all the different things that you can do in it. And like my favorite thing right now is so me, Cash, Saracen, we're trying to go through veteran Moonhunter Keep, which we are not getting through. And like we keep hitting a wall, and we're like, okay, we can't get past this part. And then all of a sudden we get past it. And then we're like, okay, let's go
Yeah.
to the next thing. And then we're like, okay, we can't get past this. And then we get past it. So we've been working on that for like 2 or 3 days of streaming it and trying to get through it. And then my favorite thing now to do is the fishing Fridays, because like a lot of the times I'll throw the stream up and it'll be people at work and they're like, hey, I'm just hanging out while I'm at work, whatever. And so it ends up just being chatting with the chat while sitting there trying to fish up the fish. And some people tag along with me, some people are, it ends up being maybe one to, like, I think we had a party of 5 one day. So it's a really small group that go fishing on Fridays with me, but it's fun doing that because it's like it gets you out of that normal grind of doing. Okay, I gotta go do my writs. I gotta go do my dailies. I gotta
Right.
do my dungeons. All that stuff. Oh, I gotta grind out Cloud Rest for the 50th time on normal, so that way I can get this stupid Reliquin gear. So
Right.
but yeah, after that, like doing those kinds of things, I'm having a lot more fun with the game because I'm trying not to get burnt out on just doing the normal grind. And like I only
Yeah.
save certain things for certain days. So like Tuesdays are usually the veteran dungeons with Chegg. Wednesdays I try to do dungeons and stuff like that. Actually, I saw Jib's post that they're gonna start doing vet dungeons on Thursdays. So I think I'm gonna start doing that with lore seekers because now if we're gonna start getting into more
Yeah.
vet dungeons, that's the stuff I want to get into with my main. But then me and Cash last week were like, you know what? Let's just grab people and start running them through dungeons and get them leveled up, stuff like that. So we ended up making 2 different groups. We grabbed people, we started going through dungeons to try and get them through it real quick and get them leveled, kind of teach them the basic mechanics and stuff like that. But there's all sorts of things going on right now that just make it so much more fun to play because we're always trying to think of ways to, not only help lore seekers but also, expand where we're going and stuff like that. So
Mm.
we
And so
had we had a PvP day fire medic. So like I got burnt out with PvP after Mid-Year Mayhem because I played PvP nonstop every single day for the entire month of Mid-Year
I remember a
Mayhem.
lot of you guys got into that
Yeah.
pretty heavy there for a long period of time.
Yeah. I leveled 2 characters to 50 just off of PvP alone. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, Artemis is usually there with me because I'm playing country music while I'm fishing too. So, and I break out my non combat dog in game, bring him with me. All
Dude,
I'm,
Texas pretty chat's turning into Schoolhouse Rock. That's
yeah, it's fun. Um, all right. So what else is there? So I know we're kind of over the time. Are you still good to hang out for a few more minutes? Or
yeah,
okay.
yeah. No, this has been great.
My wife is still
Good.
cooking, so I got a few more minutes.
Okay.
Um,
I'm keeping my eye on her. I'll kind
yeah.
of tip
Once
you off
when
if she starts coming with the pan or something.
once yeah, once when she starts giving me the stink eye, she's like, "Time to get off now." That's usually so. No one usually sees what's behind me because I put down the green screen when I do it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it up today. I don't even care if I have it down or not. And I kind of like it because it kind of gives like a more of a feel of now people know what's going on in my house and they hear the kids yelling or something like that. That's the thing is like that's the thing most of the people that are new to this should know is like lore seekers a very casual guild. Like this is the essence of lore seekers right here. My wife cooking dinner, my dog's walking around, my kids wanting to jump in the stream. That's what we're geared towards is the family oriented, more than just gaming group. So that's kind of why I love lore seekers is they have that same mentality that came from Mog Nation into the lore seekers where real life always takes precedence over the game and like we've run so many different things and people have had to jump out and go many times Cash has been like, I got a call, gotta go. He just jumps out. Like we could be in the middle of Cloud Rest or something and then he'll just like bail on us and we're like, okay, whatever. So but yeah, that's it. I mean that's what we do. So I was gonna get back into the so do you have a few more minutes? You're good to hang out for a little bit longer? Okay. So I want to get back into like the races and classes and stuff like that. We get a little racist in here. What's your favorite race in Elder Scrolls Online?
So I've always really liked the storyline for the Bretons. I just find it interesting. I really wish the Nord passives were a little bit better as far as the gameplay. So I don't have a Nord on PC, but I've got some Nords on my PlayStation account. But I think of those two, it always kind of goes back and forth. It seems like a lot of people hate high elves quite a bit, but I don't really have that much of a problem with them.
Yeah.
And I'm
I have one. I have one just for the sake of having one, but I've always viewed high elves as the high class snooty type of people.
Oh
like,
yeah, they are. Yeah, totally.
So people from Arizona would get this reference, but I always picture high elves as the Scottsdale people of the game, which Scottsdale is like the higher class. Everybody drives a Mercedes and a Beamer and all the fancy cars and everything. That would be high elf territory. So
yeah.
But okay, so then what's your favorite class? What's your main class? I don't remember. I know we've run before, but now I can't even remember.
I think when we ran, I was in there on a Templar, and I've always liked the Templars. I used to run DPS, and then I switched to a healer. So when I got on PC, that was the first one I made was a Templar healer, but I think when we ran, I think I was just leveling up at the time.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering right, but I really enjoy the Templar and the Nightblade. And I think that's just because they offer two very different kinds of playstyle, obviously, but some of the other characters. I mean, I like the Sorcerer I've got one that I run. Basically, I've got different classes that I run different types of content with.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Maelstrom Arena, so it's so easy on a sorcerer
Yeah.
that the only reason I made a sorc was just for Maelstrom Arena, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I think by Templar is preferred overall. I think
Yeah. No, I love my Nightblade. Is your Nightblade a Stam or a Magicka?
it's a magic.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
magic.
So I gotta make another one because everyone's going towards the Magic Nightblade. I love my Stam Blade. It's so much fun. But I think I need to try the Magicka one out because a lot of people seem to step up the DPS a little bit more with Magicka versus the Stam. And like
Mm-hmm.
that was one of my things in the beginning was like I was trying to get to that point where I was pulling the DPS that you need to run trials and stuff, and I have my
Right.
character at that point, but like I cap out right around 21 to 22, somewhere around there, and like some people are like, oh yeah, that's plenty of DPS, but then I see other people that can pull like 30 with a Magicka Nightblade, and I'm like, yeah, I want to be able to do that. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I'm getting more into right now the healer class. Like I've been playing my Templar healer a lot. It's kind of fun to play that support role because I hate to say it, but healers are the easiest class to play in this game. It's like spam the one key, and you're gonna
You
keep
think
the whole.
so?
Yeah, yeah. Because like
when I switched, because I ran DPS for a long time, and when I switched my Templar from being DPS to heals, and we went into the very first dungeon that I took her into was White Gold Tower, and I had a heck of a time. And I don't know, the guys that I was running with, I knew their play style. I know that they were decent players, so it wasn't like I was running from folks that didn't know what they were doing. But it seems to me like there's just a lot more to pay attention to, because not only you pay attention to the fight, but you're also paying attention to the other players. So I found that dynamic to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just funny because, like, okay, I have a Templar healer, and there's the one ability, I forget what it's called now, but you basically just, like, wave your hand, and you heal everybody in the group. And it's like...
there's the Breath of Life spammers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all you got to do is do a one long attack, and then when you do your Breath of Life, it'll crit almost all the time and heal everyone almost to 100%. So I'm like, really? Like, I never tried the healer out because, like, when I played other games, I was either a tank or a healer. I never got into the DPS classes. So on this game, I was like, I'm trying DPS because I really want to see what it's like. And that's what I focused on. But now that I'm doing healing again, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can just sit here and, like, sleep while I do this dungeon or whatever I was running with people. But there is and that's the thing is, like, if you're running a normal dungeon, it's autopilot, but if you get into the vets and the trials, yes, that's definitely where it takes a lot more concentration, really knowing what heals to hit at the right time, stuff like that. So I'm not bashing any of the healers that might be watching. I'm just saying, like, if you're doing the easy content, it's easy mode for the healers.
It's definitely easy.
So
yeah, for the normals and stuff. But if you're doing, you can do. I hate to use the word hybrid because I know a lot of people don't like the hybrid type characters, but you can DPS and heal at the same time and some of that normal stuff, and it makes it not so boring.
Yeah. And that's that was one of the runs that me and Chegg did. One of the bosses got glitched in the wall, and the only way you could hit him was with an area attack. So me and Chegg were sitting there dealing out, like, very small damage back and forth, and we had these two other guys that were low level, and they didn't have any area attack. So we're like, okay, you guys just stand over there. We're just going to handle this. So we're sitting there, just keep doing it over and over and over. And we probably wasted like a good 30 minutes. So I was like, Check, let's just die and reset this thing. I'm tired of doing this. Because it was going to take forever to, hit it down. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So okay, going back into ESO more. Out of all the places in Tamriel, what's probably your favorite place to go visit and hang out, and why?
See, I knew you were gonna ask this question too. Um, there's so many different places, and like I said, uh, there's so many different dynamics to the game, and different, each different area has their own particular complexities that, some days I might feel like just running the DC side of the map, and um, I always it would probably be Orsinium, because every time I make a character, I always make sure that I go finish off the Orsinium quest line, because I really like that area. Um, I think just it's got a great landscape and stuff like that as well. I mean, I think every area in the game is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. There's something about Orsinium that I find really appealing.
So okay, like I've never claimed to be like an expert on ESO or anything like that. So Orsinium is like a certain area of like Rothgar, and then there's like a couple other places, isn't it? Or is Orsinium just its own little place? So I don't remember seeing it on the map.
In the game, Orsinium, that's where Stugga tries to take you to. Everybody wants to kill Stugga.
Oh, isn't it called Rothgar though? I don't know. I don't. Orsinium.
Now you got me confused.
Yeah, now I'm confused because so people call different regions different things, and I always get confused because since I'm still new to the game, I'm used to exactly what I see on the map. So Orsinium lies upon the mountains between Skyrim and Hammerfell.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like is it Northern High Rock? But you don't get to see that. They don't really call it High Rock in the game either.
Right.
I don't know if you guys can see my cat. My cat's really jealous right now because I'm not giving her enough attention.
I'm guessing Artemis's cat is watching the stream right now too, because
this is Mama Cat.
She's just gonna jump up in there like, give me some attention. Yeah, see, and that's the thing is, I think a lot of people, like I said, I played a little bit of Skyrim, but not very much, and I think a lot of people have that background of knowledge in Elder Scrolls that they call certain areas by certain names that I don't see in the map that I look at, and I'm like, what is that place you're talking about? Or like the races too, like what do they call high elves? They call it something else too.
The Altmer.
The Altmers, exactly. And I'm like, like when I was listening to the podcast, like I was looking at the races, and I'm like, I don't see an Altmer race. What is it? And then that's when I started like looking into the lore, and I'm like, oh, Altmers are basically high elves. Okay, so and then there's a lot of that stuff that I don't know, and I'm still trying to figure out. So. It looks like dinner's on the table, so I'm guessing that's my cue to start wrapping things up. So that's definitely
gonna be relentless here.
Yeah, it's definitely a different atmosphere when I try to do the stream like this. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it that way or throw the screen down.
Give it some thought.
You get a lot of.
It might be good because we could probably go all night and.
Yeah.
I definitely find tons of different topics to talk about.
Yeah,
and
I definitely
didn't get their question answered for them, but I'm okay with that.
Wait, did they ask any questions that we missed? Because I was.
No, I don't think so. I'm good.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll call it here. And Shameless, we're gonna have a lot more talking to do. So one of the things I didn't get to Goob to dance in the view. Hey, Goob. Give us a Fortnite dance in the background while we're closing out. Go ahead. Yep, go ahead. There you go. Now they're going to do the Fortnite dances in the background.
Is that the Fortnite dance?
Yeah. There's different dances they do in that game, so. We can't even see you. All right, so... Now I lost my track completely. Oh my gosh. All right, so we're gonna close out. But one of the things we didn't even get into was the D&D stuff that we do. Me and Shameless are in the D&D group for Lore Seekers, and it's so much fun. We have Artemis and Bookworm hanging out with us too. So no, I cannot do the worm. It's called the belly flop for me. But anyway, Shameless, thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I had such a blast as always hanging out with you.
Absolutely, a great time. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, chat, for coming by.
Yes. Thank you everyone for supporting the stream with bits and hanging out and just enjoying the show. I appreciate everyone that's out here checking out the stream, getting to know Shameless with me a little bit more. We are definitely going to be chatting a lot more on Wednesday while we play D&D and you know, throughout the weeks as we meet up in Lore Seekers chat. So all right, Shameless, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it, buddy. Have a good night.
All right, thanks a lot, brother. We'll see you around.
Thanks everyone, chat. Take care. I am going to go host someone now. Let me go see who we can host. Oh, I want to find someone that let's see here. Oh, yes. Let me see if he's online first, because I'm notorious for doing this when they're not there. Okay, he's there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he just put up his be right back screen. Gosh darn it. All right, let's pick someone else then. Oh, I know who we can pick. Here, oh, you know, it's a good thing I checked because I'm going to start up this one here. So our very own Mac Attack, I am going to go ahead and host here. All right, again, everyone, thank you very much for hanging out with me and Shameless tonight. I appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out and supporting us. We will be back next week with Chegster. Bearded Chegg is on next week. That's going to be a very exciting one. So I hope everyone tunes in next week and checks out the stream again. Everybody have a good night. Awkward stare. I'm not going to raid, so I need... Well, yeah, I will do a raid, actually. Hang on. So I can awkward stare this out. Oh, and I don't know how to spell. See, this is why I'm never going to get to professional status, because... There we go. All right, now time for the awkward stare. Are you going to stare with me? They got to be able to see you. You got to scoot back just a little bit, and then just stare at the camera right there. This is awkward. All right, now we're clear.